So, a couple things. I have been resonating with a few people who have commented on just my take on Harry Styles. Now, I agree with the poster who said that they think that Harry is broken inside and that there is a price that he paid, which gave him the astronomical success he's had since One Direction ended. But the cost was not being able to have a life with Lou and even have the kind of relationship post-band that he probably could have wanted with the boys because they spent like 6 intense years together. They were together 24/7. They saw each other far more than they saw their own families, and they began spending so much time together when they were like 16, 17, 18, really young. Um, So and their experiences are so unique that it's hard to find other people that really got you or got each other because they were in the fishbowl, so they really need each other because there are just some things they can't talk to other people about. I mean, they could, but the only people who could understand what they went through was each other. Um, Maybe other people that were in boy bands, but the only equivalent is maybe in sync or something. It it's like Justin Timberlake could probably relate, but then keep in mind Justin Timberlake was, uh is a different generation. He was I think Justin Timberlake is like 14, 15 years older than Harry Styles. So, again, uh, there's really not an equivalent because One Direction really kind of became hitting the stratosphere with the internet and social media, and that wasn't there with all the previous boy bands. So, they're really kind of in a class of their own. So to have lost that connection, I think is really just traumatic. Now, I truly believe that either Harry's just really tired or he's got a lot on his mind because I think he's making a new album and that's a lot of pressure. But my own opinion is, I think he is broken inside, like one of the commenters in my last video said. I also believe that he is suffering from moral injury if it turns out that there's total truth to having paid this price that cost him Lou and the boys. Now, moral injury occurs when you go against your own values and you do things that is just anathema to who you are, and you like deeply betrayed yourself, or you can't even look at yourself because I didn't think I was capable of that. Yeah, I mean, it moral injury is one of the hardest types of traumas because you're somewhat your own perpetrator, not because you want it to be, but just the way that something played out. Anyway, now I don't want to bring Diddy into this, but I'm gonna just have to explain why I'm mentioning him. So, like Diddy's on trial, and the things that have come up in the testimony of Cassie Ventura has been hitting the news. So I think she was on the stand for at least 4 or 5 days, which concluded yesterday, so Friday, May 16th, and every day that she was on the stand was some really damning evidence, which everyone's all shocked. Some people are not because they're maybe more familiar with the nefarious happenings in music, and there's been speculation that, like, was Justin Bieber abused by Diddy? And then just, honestly, you don't wanna even think about it, but there is an unfortunate reality that what Diddy and his depravity and his sickness did. Unfortunately, I don't think that that's isolated to him. I think there's a lot of really, uh, creepy characters the in the music business, and Diddy, it expressed that way, but there's other people that it expressed different ways, so really that careless psychopathic disregard and the perversion, sorry, I'm gonna call it what it is, the perversion and the coercion and the use of other people that has really been a harrowing account from Cassie Ventura. That is not the first, and that's not the last, and it's not the only. That's all I'm gonna say. It's just he's the one who happens to have been caught right now. And if you look at people so, okay, here's another thing I'm gonna bring up. I have talked about Ronan Keating, and Ronan Keating, if you look at him, he's, like, 47, but he still has that boyishness, like, he doesn't look like a kid, but you can still see that 16, 17-year-old that he was when he auditioned for Boyzone, in Ireland back in the '90s, so, fundamentally, Ronan still looks like himself, just, you know, wiser, maybe with some smile lines, but really the eyes, if you look into Ronan Keating's eyes, you know what I'm talking about. And for some reason, despite all that he's been through too, with having to have been, you know, literally trafficked by Louis Walsh, for lack of a better word, after you see the Boyzone documentary, people are kind of using that term, and then losing his mom at a very young age, the same way that Louis did. You look at Ronan Keating and you can see a weathered soul, but you see a soul and you still see the glint in the eye. And Ronan Keating is, like, even older than Justin Timberlake is to Harry Styles. Like, Ronan Keating is a good 20 years old. No, Ronan Keating is, yeah, he's almost 20 years older than Harry Styles. And the fact that Ronan Keating I can recognize, if I didn't see Boyzone for a long time, then I saw them again, I would still recognize Ronan Keating, right? And that is where I'm okay, this is what my point is that it's the eyes, they don't lie, and Ronan still seems possessed with the same soul that he started with, right? And Harry in particular, he as much as he personified this angel cherub child, like, when I used to see Harry Styles, like, during the band's active years, I would just smile because it was like the kid was just walking serotonin. I mean, he was like a walking antidepressant because he would boost serotonin. It was the combination of the cuteness and the eyes and the smile, but just this beaming fucking glow. And it was not just about appearance. It was not just about the X factor. It was like he had this vibration that would raise the energy of the room. It's like the Dalai Lama apparently has this ability, and it has. I mean, there's people who try to explain it using quantum physics, but uh, the closest I've seen as an explanation of a person who can do this was the book Power versus Force, and it talks about uh, there's like a numerical value to a high vibrational person, and that's why they don't have to talk, you don't even have to see them enter the room, but the minute they enter and they are in the collective space, they boost they boost the feeling, and you're like, "What happened?" It's as if there's, like, an energetic light that has been boosted up on, and Harry naturally had that, and it's like, I you know, I sometimes really feel for his mother because I'm hoping I'm completely wrong and it's all our imagination and he's just stressed out. But, hey, if I had gotten pregnant at 13, Harry could be my kid, all right? Like, you can tell how old I am by when I say that. But when you look at this beautiful, beautiful boy and those emerald green eyes of his that looked like just jewels, it's like if that was my kid and he went from that to the state that he's in where he's almost like a hobo and it's not just to, conceal his identity to avoid being bothered by fans, I would just be beside myself. I mean, I'd probably be in need of some help myself, as in like, psychiatry. Um, because it's heartbreaking. If it's heartbreaking for the fans to see this, and we don't even know the guy, and say we're all right about what we're speculating, I could just only imagine how hard this must be for people who are in his like family and they care about the guy. And it just seems as if, you look at Harry's mom and Harry's sister, and then, yeah, the styles change and, there's more maybe expression lines. It's subtle, but, Harry's mom looks so, like, youthful. It's like, honestly, it's the only thing that changes is maybe she's got I think her hair is a slightly lighter chestnut brown. It was darker as from what I remember when we first met her, but really, it's like she's got the glow. Like, Harry got that glow from his mom, and his mom still has the glow, and his mom's, like, older, and then you look at his sister, and, like, she's had different hair colors, but, like, the sister, she doesn't look like a teenager anymore, but the essence of that person is still there, and, yeah, they're not celebrities, they're probably not as stressed out, but honestly, if I go back to Ronan Keating still looks like him, and why Ronan Keating looks e either actually, Ronan Keating looks maybe slightly older, yet more, um, exuberant than Harry, but in some pictures, if I put them side by side, Ronan Keating looks like the younger person, and it's like, "Oh, it's because he's fair that maybe he looks like he's got more laugh lines," but honest to God, it's as if Ronan Keating, uh, stopped aging and Harry Styles accelerated. And it's but it's not like if I put a picture up and I get a plastic surgeon to analyze the skin and everything, and we can pinpoint why he's looking so drab. It's not that level of aging alone, and I don't think it's not like he's really not showing the visible signs of aging per se, and, yes, you lose face fat when you get older, but it's not again, if he had the light and the beaming kind of vibration that he had when he's younger, then he would look like he would look younger for his age. But when you're broken inside, there's different expressions about when you're broken, and it's like the eyes are empty, the eyes are dead, or it looks like it looks like there's a darkness, and I okay, this is why I mentioned Diddy. I'm sorry, my mind's kind of on cognitive overload, but Uh, I don't think Harry went to any DD parties, or at least he's not one of the celebrities that are mentioned, but just because he didn't go to those parties, it's like, well, what parties did you go to, or what people have you been in whose orbit? I do think that, like, it's a horrible thing to think about, but there's that's conspiracy theory, but, like, the casting couch or things people have had to do to get where they are, and then why does it sometimes not make sense that some people who should be more successful because of their talent and they've got the formula, they've got the looks, it doesn't make sense that they're not getting distribution, kinda like Niall and Louis and all that, and then you see other people that you're like, "How are they famous when they're not really giving much?" So the conspiracy theories around why that phenomenon happens is that it's artificial because the defining factor is that one person, like, literally for the most part, sold their soul, and selling your soul does not mean being a workhorse necessarily, it could mean other things like, hey, the whole yacht girl conspiracy. I don't know how true this is, and I keep hoping that it's really just exaggerated imagination, but when you think of, like, an nobody doubts there's a casting couch in Hollywood, and the casting couch just it extends beyond that, and it's not just women, it's also men, and what really makes me wonder if something like that happened to Harry, whatever exploitation it would have been, is that I've referenced this before, he really needed to be liked so much, and there's an old clip from X Factor days where he said that, I can read all these really nice things about me online and feel good, but it doesn't matter how many good things I'll read. The one critical thing that I come across about me, and I'm just devastated. Now, yeah, he was 16, so that's a really vulnerable age. So it's just amplified, but because he in particular just really needed to be liked, I think that was just his nature. Unfortunately, that makes you especially vulnerable to predatory people, and if you combine needing to be liked and this this almost urgency to be famous because it's giving you something, it's filling a hole in your heart, and it's like It's like empty calories. Yeah, you get some energy in, but it's not it's nutritionally dead. Fame is kinda like a version of nutritionally dead, but you get a lot of like, stuff, and so it's this ever-chasing thing, and then, it's kind of an addiction of itself, it's so hard to let go of it. Now, if Harry's soul is broken, I don't think it's necessarily just because of the distancing from the boys and losing that connection, especially with Louis. I think there were just some things that maybe he had to do to be in the favored category, like so many people before him, and it's like, yeah, soul loss is what I see, and then if there's regret because ultimately they made the choice to sacrifice, I think there's a lot of, like, self-hatred that can come with that. So, I don't know. I miss the angel Harry Styles.